This episode of Rookie Hunter is brought to you by the Wild Sheep Foundation. Become a member, join the Lesson 1 Club, and attend their annual convention, Sheep Show, Reno, Nevada in 2020. For more information, go to wildsheepfoundation.org. Hey, welcome to episode 103 of Rookie Hunter. It's a classic Rookie Hunter episode. I feel like we haven't done this in a while, where it's just the two of us together in the studio giving you updates on what we've been up to and what our plans are. As most of you know, ratings and reviews make a big difference for us. And if you follow us on Instagram, you'll probably would have seen the decals we had made. It's just the caribou. Lots of people asking where they can purchase those. Well, they are not for sale, but you can do something for us, and we'll send them to you if you live in North America, so United States or Canada. And if you leave us a review in iTunes, a good one specifically, we'll send you a decal in the mail. So all we need you to do is take a screenshot of the review that you left for us, and we'll send you a decal. Pretty easy. It's going to help us out. And lots of you guys want those things, so that's how we're going to get them to you. I should mention that this is just for new reviews in iTunes. Those of you that have already done it, well, we love you guys. You know that. But this is part of a new campaign for us to get more people listening to the show. Our August sheep hunt wouldn't be happening without the support of the Wild Sheep Foundation, so we ask that you please join us and become a member of the Wild Sheep Foundation. You can do so by going to wildsheepfoundation.org. As I mentioned last week, dates have been set for the Sheep Show in 2020. That's going to be happening January 16th to 18th. Hope to see you guys down there. There's more and more familiar faces every year. And that's an event that we will not miss. With Sitka Gear as a new supporter, you're going to hear us talk about the Mountain Hauler 6200 backpack in this episode. Been using it for probably over a month now, and I've been going out with it daily as part of my training schedule, adding more and more weight as the weeks go by here. And my first impressions of it are pretty damn good. I love it so far, and I look forward to giving you more reviews, but you'll hear us talk about it more in this episode. You can see all the Sitka gear that we're wearing by going to our website, rookiehunter.com, and clicking on the gear tab. Lastly, get yourself a blade from North Arm Knives. Go to northarmknives.com. All right, guys, let's get into this episode. Sit back, relax, crack yourself a nice cold beer, and enjoy episode 103 with me and Kelly.
The hippopotamus. You should probably cut that.
Well, Kelly, episode 103. It's a mouthful now.
Yeah. We'll have to change the name and start over.
Yeah. So we start from, this will be just episode 3.
Yeah.
There we go. I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Got any ideas for a new name?
I don't know. Sheep harvesters, I'm hoping. Officially.
Yeah, that could be an ongoing podcast, but that the name never actually comes true.
Yeah. Rookie hiker.
That seems a bit more fitting.
What was the other one? Oh, I'm drawing a blank here. What were we called? Yuppie hunters?
Oh, yuppie hunters. Yeah.
Yeah. That one might go. That one might fly.
That one's caught on already, I think.
Yeah.
What's on tap, Kel? This is one of your favorites, and it didn't leak all over the place, so that's a good start.
Yeah. The can works. It's Doan's Craft Brewery out of Vancouver. It's a pale ale at about 40 IBUs, which I think is my personal limit.
Yeah, this is
international
good,
bitterness unit.
Yeah. This clean, balanced pale ale features a tropical aroma and flavor profile you'd expect to find in the traditional West Coast style.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy. And it's vegan friendly. Oh,
I didn't notice that.
Well, how do you feel about this beer now? It's also hunter friendly, I suppose, if we're drinking it.
Yeah, I guess. It's still good. And Doan's Kolsch, I think, is still my favorite.
Yeah.
Of the Doan's family beer. But yeah, it's good.
Cool. I think we need to do a Vancouver podcasting pub crawl.
Yeah. And we should bring that over to Victoria too.
Yeah.
Like do the circuit.
I'm saying in like one night.
Oh, one day.
One day of
We might be able to do that in a day. We'll start in Abbotsford.
mhm.
We'll work our way to Delta.
Yep.
And then we'll go into Van and cross the ferry to Victoria. And
So if there's any drivers available,
yeah,
we'd love to have you.
deal.
Cal, turkey hunt recap. I think you guys, it's funny. I loved listening to your dad at the end of that one because the first thing he did obviously was went home and he's on YouTube and he's watching
Yeah.
videos. And I think you guys kind of identified a few things that you might have done different. What are some of those things?
I'm not sure. I mean, I know that he went back and looked at videos and he was thinking about flipping the roles was the one thing I remembered. So trying to get the turkey to get more curious about you as opposed to like you kind of leading
Yeah.
the calling.
So
little
that
more,
is the idea once you've heard them, like a response, that you should stop.
yeah, and I don't know. And I think that's what he was
And it's-
That's what he was hearing on the
Right.
videos when he got back. I actually didn't see the videos, but it makes sense. And I think the key, like anything and with experience, you start recognizing these things and sometimes it's case by case. I think Randy made a lot of good points too about how like it's almost like they're all different in a way. Like sometimes you hear an elk and it sounds like a little one and then all of a sudden this massive elk walks around the corner.
Yeah.
Sometimes with turkeys, it sounds like a little Jake and then all of a sudden there's a big Tom there. Or sometimes
Yeah.
they'll come in if it's a Jake sound and they won't if it's a big Tom. But
Yeah.
definitely an experience thing. I think like Randy definitely knows what he's doing because the day, I think it was a couple days after, I think actually it was the day that we released the pod and he sent me a text message and he had a turkey on the ground.
Nice. Awesome.
So the spot we were in, he managed to get
He
it
went
done.
back, eh?
Yeah. And I think that's key too, is it's nice to have that second day to go back.
Yeah.
So I kind of wish we could get out there again, but just limited time. Weekends go by pretty quick.
Yeah, definitely, man.
But yeah, I mean, I think the other thing I would change, and it was front of mind right from when we got in there, is just really focusing on finding a great spot where you're hidden and that your face, especially if you don't have like coverage on your face, if your face is wide open and that sun comes up, the sun was coming up through the trees sideways and it was just like hitting us straight on. So you don't want to be too open in that situation. And if you are, you can't move at all. Because where we were, it was a wooded area. It wasn't an open field. You know, the turkeys are coming in from that wooded area and you may not be able to see them, but they're actually looking through the trees at you.
Right.
And it's, I would always err on the side of caution that just assume they're watching you all the time.
Yeah.
But maybe a little too much movement on our end in certain cases.
Yeah, it's cool, man. I'll have to come out next time because it sounds like fun.
Yeah. And I know like some of our friends there were going on turkey hunts in various areas.
Yeah.
And they're hooked too. So
Yeah.
like I said, they're big birds and it definitely gets your heart racing. Like
Yeah.
I thought for sure at one point there we had turkeys coming through the bush and I thought I was going to have to make some decisions and pull some triggers and see what happens from there. And
Yeah.
it's pretty exciting. And it's cool because you're actually communicating with these things and you're calling them in. It's not really, you know, with elk and turkey and whitetail, when you're calling in whitetail, there's not a lot of other animals, I don't think, where you're doing that. Like I think both of us are more on the spot and stalk kind of hunts just from the physical factor.
Yeah.
But I feel like with turkeys, if you hit it on a good day, you don't necessarily have to be sitting around for 2 to 4 hours. And, you know, you should get some action in the first hour. And then you get that interaction with them and you never know what's going to happen.
Cool.
It's just very exciting. And you're up close. You're within 30 yards.
Yeah.
So it's just a really cool hunt. So
very cool. One of the things I was going to say is your dad was like, I think he sort of mentioned that the barrier for him to get his license was actually like going to the class and actually doing it. He can do his core online. Like he can do all it'll take you through the course and then you just have to book the exam.
Right.
So he can do that.
Nice.
I'm going to be pushing this.
Yeah. Well, I told him he should because I mean, you don't have to go through with the rest of it. Like, you don't have to have a gun collection and
No.
be like, if you don't want to go through with that, that's fine. But if you want to come out and participate even to the next level,
Mhm.
then
Yeah.
you might as well have it.
Yeah, so he get his hunter's education, his core. Doesn't necessarily have to get his firearms license.
No.
But he can take that step. Because I think if he came with one of us or with Randy or whatever, he could use our firearm under our watch, basically,
I
right?
believe so.
I think
yeah.
you have to
We'd
be
have to
within
be
a certain
present.
distance. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he was into it, then he could start with a 22 or a shotgun or whatever. And
Yeah.
find what he likes. But one day, I'd like to have him out there on a big game hunt with wall tents and all that kind of shit would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And like he said, we went through the whole pig
Yeah.
process. So
That didn't seem to bother him.
Yeah, it's like those were 300-pound animals. So
And that's a bit more, I'd say that's more gruesome than a hunt. It's very humane, but it's like things are happening in that process that don't happen out in the field as far as having to bleed them out. And,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, be fun, man. We'll keep working on him.
Yeah.
Although he's hooked, I can tell.
yeah, and like you said, he's just got so much going on. Like
Yeah.
he's curling every week. He actually went curling this weekend.
Oh,
It's-
really?
It's almost May, and they went on a Bonspiel or whatever you
Right.
call those events.
It's not something you have to do all the time, though. It's something you can have in your back pocket. And
Yeah.
It's like if he's coming up here or if you're going down there, you can go out for an afternoon and evening and
Yeah.
or whatever. It's just it's one little trip you can plan each year if it's going out for elk hunt or
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
It's just an excuse to go camping, really.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I mentioned even with this is, regardless of what kind of hunt it is, whether it's walking or sitting or turkey or deer
Yeah.
or whatever, it's all really about just getting out there. And I kind of, if you listen to the sound clips on that last episode, you can hear the amount of birds that were out.
Yeah, man, it's cool.
There were like just tons of birds around, like grouse getting spooked everywhere and geese flying over us. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, ravens flying around and can't get away from them sometimes.
Yeah.
And then just a bunch of small birds. So squirrels, I don't know. There's
Everything.
just everything. There's elk track on the ground. And
Yeah.
I don't know. It's cool just being out,
Yeah,
especially in the morning on a nice day.
man.
can't beat it.
Absolutely. While you were out hunting turkeys, I went in to a spot that we like and looked for bears. It was a long ass hike. I think it was just shy of 25 kilometers. But wanted to get in there and see what was happening. There's mule deer everywhere, so that was good to see. There was a ton of grouse scaring the shit out of me constantly.
Yep.
Fluttering up in front of you. And lots of elk sign in there too, and no bear sign, unfortunately. But man, I think I was telling you when I was sending you a text while I was in there just to send you a photo and let you know that I made it in there. But the grass is so green and lush. I was like, man, I would eat this grass. So I was hoping they would be starting to come down or come out a little bit to feed on that stuff. But no sign anywhere really. The ground is wet in a lot of places, and the trail sometimes is in a pretty narrow area, and you think that they'd be making use of that trail, and you'd see some footprints in the mud and stuff, but yeah, nothing. And so I don't know what that means because we saw a lot of bears in there last year.
I feel like this is just, I'm talking off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Given it's still a bit early, they may be more on that southern slope side.
Yeah.
Even though the grass was lush where you were, they may not have needed to move back there quite yet.
Right.
And because this would be north side. But I feel like in the summer, like June, July, August, even into September, they might be going more into those shady spots, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, no, I went into like a big, kind of covered the whole spectrum of terrain and as far as south facing and north facing and all that, I kind of got a pretty good view of all that stuff. So I don't know. The thing is too, is I went in early in the morning. I was in there until about, I don't know, I probably turned around noon or something like that. I hung out for quite a while
Right.
just to glass some stuff. So had I stayed overnight or something like that and waited for sundown, maybe things would be moving around at that point, because we've heard over and over. And Jeff Landers said that I don't even think he goes out until like afternoon to hunt in the evening. So it could be
That
one of
was-
those things too. I'd like to go back and camp there and spend the night because I just love that spot. either way, man. It's just nice being in there.
I think that's probably the most significant factor was
Yeah.
the fact that you weren't there in the afternoon.
Probably. But no sign though. That's the other thing that was bugging me though.
Exactly. Yeah, that's odd.
There's lots of puddles and mud and shit like that. So
Hmm.
it doesn't really mean anything. But the the sort of the destination I wanted to get to is where I was expecting to see some kind of sign, and they might just not be using the trails back there. It's pretty open.
Yeah.
So
I wonder if they get forced. Like this kind of goes back to my other comment is maybe they get, as the winter comes, they kind of get forced to the other side, like maybe more south facing, and then
Could
it
be.
does take them a while.
Yeah.
I don't know if bear are that as sensitive to that as,
yeah, I don't know.
because there even deer that hang out on that north side. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, hard to say. But yeah, lots of deer, man. And I saw some whitetail in areas that I've never seen whitetail before. So yeah, all in all, it's good. I hiked in for a hunt, and then I also ran in another the sort of like a full week after. And I thought, oh, I'm going to run in, and for sure I'm going to see a bear because I don't have any weapons on me. But yeah, nothing, and still no sign anywhere. So, but again, I was in there super early. I got up at 5 and then got to the trail whenever I got there, and yeah, nothing. So maybe you and I should hike in there and
Camp.
spend the night. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you go in somewhat later, well, late afternoon, and then you just head out early in the morning, like you
Yeah.
don't have to make a whole weekend of it, but just try to be there for that evening portion.
Yeah.
Like,
Sorry, I blanked out for a second. Leave. You thinking like leave like late afternoon?
yeah,
and
like
then
Friday
spend the night?
afternoon, and then spend the night, come back Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And then you got the rest of the weekend. Like you don't have to.
Yeah, totally.
Because yeah, I do think that I totally agree. Evening seems to be the best.
Seems to be like this. Yeah, the money spot.
especially with ours
Yeah, right before.
right before dark.
It's funny. I've commented on this a few times, but this is I think going back a couple years before we even got your bear, and some guy wrote in or whatever and said, when you get a bear, it's going to be right before last light, and you're going to be thrashed around through dark brush trying to find him, and that's exactly what happened. Which is, we should try and find that email actually, just to let that guy know he was absolutely right.
Yeah.
So that's probably going to be the case again, I would imagine. But I don't know. It's funny, man, how when you're not looking for bears, like I think all of those bears we saw a couple of them first thing in the morning because we were hiking in, and then the other two were both, I think that was morning, and the other one was afternoon as well. So never know, different time of year though. So spring bear might be different. But anyways.
Wish I had all the answers.
Yeah. Right place, right time, I suppose.
Trying to try to think of things that could be impacting it.
Yeah.
Like the southern facing slopes and the time of year.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just odd. You didn't see any sign, like no track or anything, because there's, like you said, there's only so many trails, and they do like to hang out on trails.
Yeah, the trail doesn't get that much use. There's not a whole lot of pressure there, so I'd imagine that they'd make use of it. I don't know.
We'll give them another week.
Sure, but yeah, if you're down, we should go in and spend a night in there. It was good to try out the pack, the Mountain Hauler. So I've switched over officially from the Fial Raven Abisco 75 to the Mountain Hauler 6200. 6200, if you're working with liters as a comparison, so the Abisco was 75, the Mountain Hauler would be just over, it's like 101 liters, so that's quite a bit more than the old pack.
I like how it has the on the inside, there's 2 zippers on the side, and it kind of cinches the fabric closed, and then when you want to expand it another 1,000 cubic inch, you just unzip those zippers, and like it's easier to organize than a humongous pack, which I appreciate
very much so, man. So I tried to go as light as I could for that trip in with the bear. I just want to see what I could get away with, because I always like to, I don't know, sometimes I bring more than I need just for the to have the extra weight as far as the training thing goes, but because I was going in there on my own, and that would have been a pretty long pack out on my own, to have extra weight would have just been stupid. So went super light. And we've talked about this before with both of our old packs, was that we're always putting in extra stuff just to have some structure in the pack, so it's not really flapping around a whole lot.
Yeah.
This, the Sitka Mountain Hauler's got straps that you can cinch everywhere, so you could
Yeah.
go super light. The thing could be empty, and you could cinch it all down, and it wouldn't be flapping around
Yeah.
at all, which I love about that pack.
Yeah. And cinch it quickly and organize it quickly.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the problem with some packs is you try to do that and it takes you like a half an hour to organize the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So many straps and everything else. So
Yeah, so there's you can get in through the bottom of the pack, and then there's the pouch on the front. There's 3 sections in the hood too, so
Yeah.
it's pretty practical. And as far as the Sitka Gear's a supporter, and they want us to use the shit and actually like be honest about it too. So we're not. This isn't like us saying this shit because it's a great pack.
yeah, we're just
I like it. It's just
we're
very
using it.
functional, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the one thing I notice so far is it is more of an internal frame pack
yeah,
as opposed to a full blown external frame, which I think the external frame is always going to have a little bit of an edge in terms of strength. But this thing's rated to 150 pounds. On the other hand, I find that at least on my pack, the stays being internal, there's a little bit of creakiness,
yeah.
and it might just be adjustments.
I think so. Yeah.
So
Because yeah, you and I were talking about that a little bit, and I found a bit of creaking in it too. And I was thinking, oh, maybe it's because I've got a bit more of a load in there. I took my pack off to get the camera out, and then put it back on, made some adjustments, and that creaking stopped. So I think it's a matter of getting it set up right.
maybe working it in a bit too.
Yeah, I think so, because I've been going out with it since we got the new packs. Been going out every week with. I think I started with about 40 pounds. I've worked my way up to 50, and that's every day I've been going out doing that hike with it. So yeah, I've broken it in a bit more, I suppose, too, maybe. So
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure if there's a way around any creaking issues, if there's a way to solve it, if that is a problem. But
Yeah.
so we'll find out.
WD.
WD-40.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I don't know. That's been a dog is. I forgot to bring his dinner, and he's not too happy about
He's
it.
sitting in the corner.
Crying. I'm sorry, buddy. We'll go soon. Come here. I don't know what to tell you.
I guess a quick update from my side, like physically wise.
Yep.
Still rowing, still getting some hikes in, although I want to get some more long hikes in. Like
Yeah.
I want to go for some, even going to Cathedral or something like that. Like I almost want to go on a couple little camp out trips just to kind of prep for the big one. But I think I might have mentioned this before, but I tried running again, and I ultimately aggravated that IT band again.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Like the one thing, I appreciate running for what it is, and when I'm doing it, I do like it. I wish I could do more of it without kind of damaging myself.
Yeah.
And that could be multiple factors. It could be like structural. It could be, I could just be not doing enough exercises in the
Yeah.
hip area, more stretching, rolling, all that kind of stuff. So I'm working on all that. But I think for this hunt, I'm really going to be focusing on like leg strength, hip strength, that stabilizer muscles. I'm going to focus more on the actual hiking component and less on running.
Yeah.
Running is something that I do want to do, and I want to work into it, but I'm not going to be using it as a training method for this hunt because I feel like I'm more at risk for
Yeah, just
screwing
set you
myself
back.
over than anything else.
For sure.
So I'm going to focus more on the rowing, biking, and hiking, hiking particularly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and that's what I've been doing less running and more hiking.
Yeah.
This time around, because I feel like I obviously run because I enjoy it,
Mhm.
but I feel like the more hiking I can do, especially with the pack on, the more my body's going to get used to it. And that's why I think every week now I'm going to try and do like those 20-kilometer hikes so that
Yeah.
my body knows, okay, this is kind of a normal thing that we're doing
Yeah.
now. And we'll see how fast I can recover. So when I did that first 25K hike a week ago, I was sore for a couple of days, but I recovered quite quickly, and trying to do lots of
Mhm.
stretching and be mindful of it, and sort of be mindful of what I'm feeling while I'm out there, so I can think about what might be causing me to be sore in certain areas or uncomfortable, and then apply that to some sort of training schedule, like as well, like certain areas of my body to focus on if it's core strength or whatever. And then same with the run I did. I got to 18 kilometers and basically my legs said no more. And I think I probably should have stopped way sooner. But again, I kind of wanted to do that just to see like how far can I get before it's too much and what's going to end up hurting and how long is it going to take me to recover. Because if we have to do some longer, intense stuff, I want to know that I can get up the next day and still feel good and be able to get out there again and know that I'm not going to run into any issues. So
for sure.
The more torture we can put ourselves through now, not torture, but just like sort of pushing that threshold and knowing where the limit is, I think is probably pretty important.
Yeah.
So that we don't go beyond that and wreck ourselves when we're out there.
Yeah, exactly.
But also, I think if we're preparing with a little bit of a higher expectation, and if we're doing stuff less than that, which I don't picture us doing 25-kilometer hikes every day, everything under that's going to feel really good. And it's going to be not easy, but a more enjoyable experience rather than just going out there with very little training ahead of time. It would suck. So
yeah, I found that, those silicone bands,
yeah,
you can do like lateral steps with them. There's all these exercises. They're called like clam stretches. And you can also do bridges where you're, it's all hip and glute exercises. And for folks that work in an office all the time, what happens is those muscles end up disengaging. And then when you go out for runs or hikes, those muscles don't, like, you've kind of lost that connection with them. So you have to wake those muscles back up again, or else you end up with, IT band and all these other issues. So I'm kind of focusing a lot on that, like doing those exercises once, every day or a second day in conjunction with squats and deadlifts and rows and all that kind of stuff, just to prep that stuff because, you need to be fully supported. That's the key.
Yeah. I keep reading over and over again that squats and deadlifts are a pretty important part of strengthening that IT band and trying to avoid those issues. I think because you do work in an office environment that you should come and do a few more yoga classes with me, man, because a lot of that stuff is focused around that. Like they talk about that a lot in the class. It's like, this is an exercise for that exact same thing. And even just like hanging your head and let your head go loose because you're just sitting at a desk holding up your head all day and stuff like that. Right. So a lot of the sitting exercise like this, you do bridge exercises and all that kind of stuff too. Really loosens you up. But it's a combination of all these things combined, I think is going to help. And I think part of getting a little bit older too, it's more maintenance to keep yourself from...
Man, that's the most frustrating thing.
Yeah. And not going to a point where you hurt yourself because that fucking sucks, man, when you make progress and then you got to take time off because you injured yourself. But
especially when you have something like this coming, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't want to do anything you want to do as much as you can to get there, but you also don't want to push yourself over the limit and then screw yourself. Yeah. I think we did that one hunt we did the first year was about 25K or 20K, that first loop that we did.
Yeah.
It was up and down and around and it was a good workout.
It was for sure. With shitty packs and...
Yeah, it was a good... I remember dinner was the most epic thing.
Yeah, we talked about that. And I think it was episode 100, sort of one of the more memorable hunts we did. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I mean, the benefit of the sheep hunt is I'm hoping we can get up there and find a nice camping spot and we can move it around if we have to. I know ideally it's nice if we don't have to pack up camp all the time, but
it's going to have to go where the sheep are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
we just don't know until we get there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Should have prepared it a little bit more, I guess, for this. Was kind of a last minute recording. But we said we would play some of the stories and questions and stuff and go over some of those ones that didn't make it. I do have one, and this is from Andrew in Australia. It's kind of fun to hear from people from over there. So here, I'll play this one, Cal. I don't think you've heard this one, so get your thoughts on it.
Okay, guys, just wanting to know what your recommendations would be for order of gear purchased. A lot of people talk about what kind of stuff you need, but they never actually talk about what order to purchase it in to get you out in the field.
So that's a good question. I think we have talked about that, but not for a long time, actually. And we sort of identified our top 3 things. But if it's an option for you, man, like try and borrow stuff or see if you've got like a relative that has a rifle you can use or whatever.
I still don't have a rangefinder.
Yeah. relying on old.
And yours isn't the greatest.
Jesus, it's a piece of garbage, but it gets good up to 200.
I think there's a difference between day hunts and expedition hunts.
Yeah.
So if you're doing day hunts, you can kind of get by with
Pretty minimal.
pretty minimal stuff.
I'd say a good pair of binos is important, so you can identify what you're looking at.
Yeah, like ones you can see through.
Yeah.
And ones that exist.
Yeah. Because I think the first year here's the thing about your first, if this is your first time going out and you're starting from scratch, I think you just want to have enough stuff to get you out there. You may not shoot anything or have an opportunity, but I think the most important thing is to get out there and start understanding how things work and getting a feel for the animals you're chasing. You can just learn so much in that first year without actually taking a shot at anything. So
yeah.
And if you got some comfortable footwear, I think that's pretty important.
Yeah.
I think I just went out with a shitty old pair of boots and even wore those in the snow, but somehow managed to make it work.
If I'm trying to think of the actual order though of like if I was just doing more day hunts, like not too much camping out.
Yeah.
I'd probably go with, as I save money, I'd probably go with boots.
Yeah.
I would make do with a backpack somehow, like, an old backpack or borrowing, I don't know.
Whatever backpack you got, it's gonna be good enough.
Because that's just a logistical problem.
Yeah.
Like maybe you have to do an extra trip or something, but you'll figure it out. And it's day hunt, so you're not going to be taking a ton of gear with you. But rain gear would probably be my next one. And it doesn't have to be the best rain gear, but like something that when it starts pouring, it doesn't end your hunt. Like, I want to be able to stay out there.
Yeah.
And then I probably go backpack after that. And, assuming too that with binos, you can get a pair of $200 binos, it would be fine.
Yeah.
A pair of 8s.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the best thing if you're deer hunting or whatever. Like, I don't know. I mean, you might have to get closer. You might not have as many opportunities because of it. But if you just, like you said, if you want to get out, you kind of just work with what you got.
Yeah, exactly.
I do think boots are important though, because blisters can ruin your day.
Yeah, man.
Wet feet.
You can only get as far as your boots are going to take you. So
yeah.
Like
I'm just thinking right now that if there's one thing that never comes out of my bag, it's rain gear.
Yeah.
So
even if you just have a good rain jacket, you can make do and not worry about bottoms, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some type of shell that you can throw on.
It does take time to collect all these things, but you get to a certain point where you pretty much have everything you need, and you don't need people. I think some people get carried away with having the latest and greatest and always upgrading. But if you take care of what you have, including your footwear and any of your clothing, it's going to last a long time, man. Even if you're going out a lot, just take care of it.
And if your goal is to suffer, then I guess it's best not to have all that stuff and just go flannel
and a pair of sneakers. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have a lot when we started. I got pictures actually. I know you had I think it was like a 30-liter Mountain Co-op bag. Jeans.
It was bigger. I had jeans, nice. I'd like to see this photo.
And
I had a big bag because it was a big travel backpack, and you could clip on like a day bag to it and stuff like that. It was for like travel backpacking is what it was for.
Right.
But it was blue, which isn't great.
Yeah.
And so I had some super heavy rain gear, like fisherman's rain gear.
Yeah. Slicks.
What else do we have? Yeah, my boots were not good, but they worked and they were comfortable. Had my dad's binos.
Yeah, they were barely hiking boots.
Yeah, well, they were like above the ankle.
Yeah,
I actually kept those for a long time because they were comfortable for just doing like just day hikes and stuff like that. A nice in between my hunting boots now. But yeah, anyways, man, point being that you can get out there and have a lot of fun with pretty basic stuff. And we still have our old tents. They're not great. We're going to upgrade to some Hillebergs here pretty quick. But yeah, things are just going to be a little bit heavier and a little bit more awkward to carry around. But yeah, you're usually just excited to be out there, and whatever you have is going to get you out there.
Yep.
And have a good time.
You could always rig up some type of wheelbarrow kind of, I don't know, some type of wagon.
A cart for
it depends how far you're going, but I've seen that too. Or like some people bike in and they kind of rig it up so they can use the bike to push the bike out and all things. So.
Yeah, actually, my brother-in-law Landon has done that.
Yeah, so I think it really depends on what you're hunting and where, but yeah.
With all that being said, know your limitations with what you have. Don't get too far out there without proper gear because you can get yourself into a lot of trouble.
Yep.
Man, that reminds me actually, the very, very first hunt that you and I went on. Oh man, I'd like to go back and just witness that whole ordeal, but we got stuck in that crazy fog.
Mhm.
And it was very hard to tell north, south, east, west because it was just fog everywhere.
Yeah.
So if you spun yourself around in circles, you wouldn't know what way was what.
No.
Luckily, the sort of the contour of the mountain would, lead us to where we needed to go, and we wouldn't be too far lost. But if you were somewhere you weren't familiar with and you got caught in fog like that, man, you could be out there overnight in a lot of trouble. And
Mhm.
with what we had at that point, yeah, that wouldn't have been a good spot to be in. I don't think so.
That fog was thick. It's like you could put your hand out in front of you
Yeah,
and you could almost see the fog going through your hand like smoke.
you could, yeah, because it was kind of blowing through.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
It's kind of blowing over the top of that mountain.
Yeah, I think we have some photos from that actually. Yeah,
Creepy.
good times.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyways, I think that's, I don't have much more to add to that one.
Yeah, me
I
neither.
think we've went beyond on that one. Yeah, I don't know, man. Anything else you want to add? I think we covered some stuff.
I think, what is it? What was your countdown? 3 months?
Yeah,
To sheep hunt?
3.5.
3.5?
It's on Instagram. It actually saves it as a, like that's just on there now. So anytime you want to add it, it's there. But 3 months and 20 days or something like
so
that.
4 months.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crunch time now.
Yeah.
4 to 3 months. I always thought was that's when it gets real for
Mhm.
sure. So yeah, just keep plugging away and I guess we'll keep people posted.
Yeah, man.
And if we get a bear down, you'll hear about it first.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what's funny about the bear? So last year, well, you can check out the bear episode, and yeah, you know how all that went down. But well, first of all, you and I took a long time to come around to the idea of just even hunting bear, and but we're almost
Oscar
done.
agrees.
Chill. But Ashley was not really into the whole idea of hunting bear because it's not something she really ever thought about or anything like that, right?
Mhm.
But now she's like, "Oh, you guys gonna go out bear hunting this year? It'd be nice to get some more meat in the freezer." So she's come full circle with it too, and really enjoyed the meat that we had. And
Nice.
we talked about this lots, but the whole point was to share it with people, and we've had it out on lots of dinner parties, and we're able to give it away to some people, and so I think it was ultimately pretty damn successful to do that thing, and we learned from it. We educated a lot of people from it, and got to share it with lots of people too. So kind of cool, man.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to go out and get another one.
Yep. That'll be you pulling the trigger this time.
Yeah, I'm up to bat on this one, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. And let's after we're done here, let's look at the calendar and see if we can pick up Friday and head out there after work or something like that, and spend the night and see what happens. See if it's any different in there.
Sounds good.
All right, man.
Okay. Cheers.
Cheers. This episode of Rookie Hunter was brought to you by the Wild Sheep Foundation, Sitka Gear, and North Arm Knives. As always, it is hosted by Kelly Mullner and myself, Mike Peterson. It is recorded, edited, and produced at Mountain Stream Audio Productions in beautiful Kelowna, British Columbia. Original music written by the one and only Kelly Mullner with help from Graham Ord, Darcy Booth, and Chip Sleedermean. If you want to help us out, there's one thing you can do. You can go to iTunes or wherever you get your podcast from and leave us a 5-star rating and a review. And don't forget to subscribe. For more on the show, head over to our website, theRookieHunter.com.